another reading vlog. I'm back, and today is a very special day. It is my 34th birthday, January 11th. I decided to give myself an extended long weekend, so I've actually taken off today, tomorrow, and then Martin Luther King Jr. Day is Monday, so I have a gloriously long 5-day weekend, and I'm very excited about it. And I figured I would take you along for the ride because there will be reading involved. But today is very much a day about kind of doing the things that bring me joy. So this morning I went and did an intense workout, which according to my Apple Watch, I burned like nearly 700 calories. So that was phenomenal. And I've just eaten lunch, and now we're gonna hit the road because I'm gonna do some shopping. But I figured I would listen to my Big Swiss audiobook along the way. I have not completely, entirely succeeded at reading every day, even for just a few minutes, but I have made progress with Big Swiss, which was the book that I started in the last reading vlog. So I figure there's a chance that I could finish that book during this reading vlog. I haven't really touched The English Patient, just because I haven't been physically reading. I've just been listening to the audiobook, but I'm hoping that will change as well. What I'm doing today, this afternoon, I'm going to Sephora because I need to pick up a new Amika hair drying brush thing because mine died mid-hair. Was not happy about it, but it's fine. Gonna go pick that up. Gonna do some like shopping at HomeGoods / TJ Maxx for like household stuff. Maybe some new workout wear. Just treat myself. Definitely gonna go to Barnes and Nobles. So yeah, that is what's on the agenda for today. I'm gonna take you with me, as I said, and I'm gonna continue to listen to Big Swiss. And so I'll update you along the way when I've gotten a little bit more reading done. I think I'm past the halfway point by a good chunk, if I had to estimate based on what has transpired, but I'm finding it very hard to keep track of that with the Spotify Premium, like audiobooks. Is that just a me thing? But anyway, I've belabored this point enough, so I'm gonna hit the road. Let's go do some birthday shopping. Let's do some damage to that bank account. So I just came home from my shopping trip to the florist delivering this gorgeous 2-stem orchid, and I have absolutely no idea who it's from. Oh, wishing you many, many more, Carrie. That is so sweet. Carrie is my cousin's wife, and we are very good friends. That is super sweet. Oh my goodness. Hello, I am back from quite a shopping spree, honestly. It felt good. It was nice retail therapy. It was nice to treat myself. It was also very nice to be in the position to treat myself for my birthday. So I went to quite a few stores. I bought some clothing bits, some house decor bits, some skincare bits, and some book bits, which I will show you now. So I picked up 3 books, and I'm very, very excited about all of them. The first, where is it? Is The Gentleman's Gambit by Evie Dunmore. It's a historical romance set in the Victorian era. This is actually book 4 in this League of Extraordinary Women. Is that? Yes. Universe. And I've enjoyed all 3 of the books previously, so I'm very much looking forward to this one. This is about Katrina Campbell, I believe her name is. We've been introduced to her before, but she wants a professorship at Oxford. She also wants the right to vote for women in the UK, and that's kind of a theme throughout. These are very strong-willed, independent-minded women who are very, like, politically aware, and trying to change society for the better. They're suffragettes, for lack of a better word. And so this is her romance. I feel like it's going to be set at Oxford, so there's going to be some academia bits going on there. Then we got the royal we. We got another fiction, The Whalebone Theatre by Joanna Quinn. This is a book that I've had my eye on for a little while, so I'm glad that I finally pulled the trigger and bought it. It's about a group of friends, it sounds like, who create a, like, playhouse within the, like, bones of a deceased whale, hence Whalebone Theatre. But then when they're older, it takes place in World War II, and I believe some of the characters become spies. I'm intrigued. And then the other book that I bought was nonfiction, A Boob's Life by Leslie Lear. So I'd be lying if I said that the cover and title were not a huge draw for me, because they were. The cover, like, got my attention straight away, and then, like, the description of the book just kind of made me really, really excited about it. It is nonfiction. It seems like it's going to be a biography that also is like a social commentary on, like, how women's bodies are perceived, especially their boobs, and all of that. So I'm very, very curious about it. I haven't heard anything about it, but also I've been a little MIA on BookTube and in the book world, but it just sounds really, really fun. So we'll give it a shot. Those were the books I bought for my birthday. I gifted them to myself. I'm very, very excited. But while I was also doing all my shopping, I did manage to finish Big Swiss by Jen Beagin, which was the book that I started reading in the last vlog. I've been listening to it as an audiobook, and it was good. I think I would give it a 3.75 stars. Like, it was definitely not a 5-star for me, and I enjoyed it, but there were also parts of it that I was just kind of like, why? But the too long didn't read it version of what the book is about is essentially this woman, Greta, moves to Hudson, New York, which is actually my neck of the woods, the Hudson Valley, and she takes on a job as a transcriptionist for the sex therapist that lives in town. And he's unironically named Ohm. She ends up becoming really interested / borderline obsessed with one of his clients, who she refers to as Big Swiss before she finds out the woman's name and identity. And Hudson is a small town, so she eventually runs into this woman, and they begin having an affair. A sapphic affair that is very, very hot, but also, like, maybe morally not right, you know? She goes into this, and she, lies about her name because she doesn't want the woman to know that she's a transcriptionist. She doesn't want the sex therapist to know that this is who Big Swiss is talking about in therapy. She's also obviously heard all of Big Swiss's like deep, darkest thoughts when it comes to her sex life and relationships, and doesn't let Big Swiss know that she knows these things. Like, there's just, it's a very messy relationship, essentially. And so I will say the book has quite a few trigger warnings. Trigger warnings for sexual assault, for suicide, for mental health issues, infidelity, I guess, would be another one, sexual dysfunction. It's got a lot of stuff in it. It is a very sex-heavy book too, which I don't necessarily mind, but it, as I said in my previous vlog, that's not going to be for everyone either. The sex scenes are fairly explicit, but not in like the typical way where I would say that it's basically porn, like it's erotica, because it's not so much like anatomically describing it. It's a lot of the time just talking about Greta's like headspace and what she's thinking. But there are some descriptions of things that are a little weird, unique, that again made me feel a little awkward walking down like the grocery aisle listening to this with like an 80-year-old woman looking at me from across the way. Like, I felt like she knew what I was listening to. So I would say that the sex scenes and the talk of sexuality are interesting and feel very much like through the feminine gaze and lens versus like a male gaze and lens. And so maybe that's why it's more palatable for me, but it is there. It is very, very prevalent. I mean, Greta's headspace is really interesting. There's a lot of dark humor. She's very quirky. She has a very interesting way of seeing the world, which is fun to read, but I would kind of class her as like a morally gray character. Like, I wouldn't say she's particularly likable. A lot of the stuff that she does during the book feels morally or ethically just wrong. Maybe she's not even morally gray. Maybe she's like an anti-hero. Huh. The only other thing I would really say is that I feel like I was missing the meaning of certain things in the book. Like, there are a lot of animals that get brought up. This big beehive, the dogs, the donkeys, and they're constantly brought up, and they figure pretty heavily towards the end of the book. And I feel like because of that, they must mean something. Like, there must be a symbolism, a metaphor, and like something that I'm just completely missing. And that bugs me a little bit because either there is a meaning that I'm completely missing, or it's just the most random stuff to happen ever. 3.75 I feel like is fair. I feel like it's a fair assessment. I enjoyed it enough, but it's probably a book that, even though I have a signed copy, I'll likely rehome elsewhere. So that's kind of the end of that. I did order sushi for my birthday dinner, which is the next thing on my to-do for today. I'm gonna open a bottle of wine, maybe, eat my sushi, watch some movies. I think I'm gonna watch Prime Suspect, which I've been loving, but that's probably the last you'll hear of me this evening. You'll hear from me tomorrow. I'm gonna need to find another audiobook to listen to, because tomorrow is deep clean day. You know you're old when you're looking forward to the prospect of spending an entire day cleaning and organizing your house. It is January 12th, and that is legitimately all I have planned for today, is to give Florence a deep clean and organize to set us off on the right foot going in 2024. And I'm hyped. I'm honestly very excited to just have that going for me today. But what that means is that I'm going to be listening to audiobooks for most of the day, and I'm here for it. And I managed to find The English Patient as an audiobook. I've been trying to manage that for the longest time, but the waitlist on Libby for this book is always months. Months and months and months and months. But it's on the Spotify premium thing. And then I also have on deck Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell on Libby. So if I finish The English Patient, which is entirely possible, I can move on to Hamnet, which would make me happy. So we're gonna get started. First and foremost, I'm gonna strip my bed and get this stuff in the laundry, but then I think I'm gonna tackle the kitchen first. Today has been exhausting. Good for the sense of accomplishment. I cleaned the entire house from top to bottom. Started at like 8:30 this morning, finished at 5, so it was like a full day of cleaning. But I cleaned, I moved furniture, I reorganized the pantry, I dusted, I like redid my mantelpiece design, all the things. And I'm exhausted. But I also listened to audiobooks during all of that. I listened to The English Patient and I ran out of hours with Spotify Premium. So it stopped reading with like 2.5 hours to go in the audiobook. So I will be picking up the physical book to finish that off tomorrow or some point this weekend. But it's interesting because I love that book. But I feel like if my first impression of the book had been the audiobook, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. It is kind of funny because there's this section in the book where the English patient is telling one of the characters like how he has to read Kipling, and he's telling him to slow down. And I feel like that is almost the lesson with this book. It's you need to slow down and really focus on every single word, and listening to it as an audiobook on like 1.45 speed or whatever setting I have it at, it makes it very hard to really follow because it is so literary. So I'm lucky in that I know the story already and have read it multiple times. but that was an interesting thing because the narrator's great. I love her voice for it. But it's just a little bit weird. But then I also started listening to Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell once Spotify kicked me off audiobook credits. So I'm listening to that on Libby. I'm not far. I think I'm like 8% or something like that. So I don't have a ton to say at this point, but I feel like I probably couldn't have read this book earlier because it is a plague book, bubonic plague, but I'm liking it so far. I'm liking what I've heard and read, and so we'll keep on with that one as well. My understanding is that it's kind of an origin story for Hamlet, and so Hamnet appears to be William Shakespeare's son, is what I'm gathering. So we're just gonna find out what's going on there. But anyway, it is not even late. I think it's like 6:30, but I am beat. I ordered Dairy Queen for dinner. Wow, I can't talk. I ordered Dairy Queen for dinner, ate that. I'm sitting here trying to watch TV, but my brain is just not focusing. Like, I'm hearing things, but I'm having trouble following it, if that makes any sense. I'm just tired. Like, I could literally fall asleep. So I think I'm gonna call it a night, head upstairs, and then start fresh tomorrow. Hello, it's been a few days since I've checked in with you guys. It is now Monday, what is it, January 15th, I believe? And the birthday weekend was birthday weekending, so I really didn't have an opportunity to do much vlogging or much reading, to be quite honest. It was lovely though. Mom came up early Saturday, and so she went around with me while we were doing errands, and she brought me my birthday gift, which was this behind the couch console, and we kind of hung out before my dad got here, and then we went to my favorite French bistro for dinner. Mom ended up staying the night. Dad went home, but he didn't leave here until like 11 o'clock at night. So it was a late night for old ladies like me who are usually in bed by like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then Sunday, Mom was still here, so that was nice. We went out for breakfast, we did a little shopping, and then we just kind of hung out before she went home. So it was good. It was very good. In any case, before I ramble on for too much longer, I did want to check in because, as I said, I did do some reading and I wanted to wrap up this vlog. So first and foremost, I read and finished The English Patient this morning. As I had mentioned, I was listening to the audiobook while I was cleaning, and then I ran out of credits. So I read the last like 75 pages or so in a physical copy. Loved it, as I always do. There is a reason that this is one of my favorite books of all time. I've talked about it on this channel so many times, so I won't sort of wax poetic on the point, but this is one of the This is one of the more unique World War II stories. Takes place kind of at the end of the war, and you really do just have this cast of 4 central characters who are all from varying walks of life, being in the same place and time for this brief time period. And what I feel like became really prevalent to me this time around is this kind of, that it's not just the one love story that the movie focuses on that makes this book beautiful. It is various types of love. Love for a father, love for a friend, lovers, like romantically, but also this way in which love can kind of transcend time and place, even when there are obstacles that keep people apart or things that get in the way in some way, shape, or form. So that was really kind of a beautiful message that I picked up this time around. And I really just, as I said, enjoyed it. This is a favorite book of mine for a reason. So 5 stars, obviously. I will say though, that as much as I like the actress who does the audiobook for The English Patient, this is one instance where I feel like reading the physical book really just trumps everything. Like, just read the physical book, take the time, absorb it in that way, because I feel like a lot of us with audiobooks do tend to listen to it at a faster speed, and it's just not doing this book the service it deserves. So that is book number 2 for 2024, which, like, at this rate, my reading slump is definitely looking further and further behind me in the rearview mirror, which I am very, very happy for. As I mentioned, I am also listening to the audiobook for Hamnet, but I haven't gotten any further with that one. I'm still around 8%. So I will continue listening to that in the next vlog. But I think the next physical book that I will be picking up is actually The Gentleman's Gambit by Evie Dunmore, which I mentioned as one of the books in my mini birthday book haul. So I think this one is also going to be talked about in my next reading vlog. I have a friend who is very eager to discuss this book with me, so I better get a move on. But anyway, that's another vlog in the books. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe, because it would mean the world to me. And I will see you in the next vlog. Bye!